Welcome to The Debrief, serving up only straight shooters on today's topics. Your bartender host, JT.
Welcome everybody back to another episode of the Debrief podcast. I'm Jay, here back at our studio. This is episode number 2. We're about to toss this joint in the can right now, and I have a guest with me, Chase Cichos. I've known Chase through the gym that my son trains at, EBS Group Performance. And when I first saw Chase, I thought he was somebody that I actually served with or I worked with when I was over in Afghanistan. And a mutual friend of ours, my son's head coach, Kevin Hardiman, I kept asking him, I was like, yo, was this guy over in Afghanistan? He looks like a guy I worked with, man. And he's like, no. And I just kept asking everybody. And then finally I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go over here and talk to the dude. Because when you see him, you hear his story. But when you see him in the gym, it's like some of the most hard work that you could possibly see somebody go through. And you'll understand why after the show. But he was the 2021 strength and conditioning coach for MMA nominee, which, you know, that's pretty tough to be able to get rolling. And when you listen to his story and you get to talk to him, you'll understand why. And a lot of those guys that I see training with him, quite a few of them are in the UFC currently right now. They go through some very vigorous strength and conditioning training, but just combat sports as a whole, his story is absolutely awesome. Listening to him, especially when it comes down to music, we relate to a lot of the things because he is a Nipsey Hussle fan, where I'm also a Young Dolph fan, and we know Nip and Dolph had a very strong connection. So I'm happy to have him on the show. I'm glad that it was able to work out to get him here. So with no further ado, what's going on, Chase, man?
Much love, brother. I appreciate the kind words. I just got to correct you on one thing. It's Chase Cichos.
Cichos. Ah, fuck
all
that
good.
up.
No, it's good.
That's me. I appreciate you correcting me on that one, bro, because I look at the C and the I, and that's why I said that. That's my bad. Yeah. But he corrected me on that one. It's Chase Cichos. I fucked it up. But I am glad I just call him Chase. I don't ever really call anybody by their last name. But
Chase
I'm glad
your dreams, you know what I mean? That's
Chase your dreams,
yeah.
And that's what it's all about. He does have a company, Chase Your Dreams. He does have a link. I think everybody should go check that joint out. I got a hoodie, but Six took my hoodie.
Oh,
Coach Six has not given me my hoodie
you left
back.
it at the gym?
No, bro. He came from work, and he needed a hoodie to work out in. That was the day that you came in, and I gave him my hoodie because I was wearing it that day. He's like, yo, Jay, you got another hoodie? And I'm like, yeah. Can I get that one? So, I mean, I guess you could say I literally took the clothes off my back.
I was about to say, you're that kind of guy, bro. Take the clothes off my back
and gave it to him, you know, because he needed a hoodie. He was cold. But, I mean, what's going on, Chase? How you doing, bro?
Life is good, man. I can't complain, bro.
Okay.
Life is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wake up every morning and I'm grateful. I go to bed every night and I'm grateful. You know what I'm saying? No matter what's going on, no matter what I'm going through.
That's awesome.
It's a gift.
It is.
It's a gift.
There's a lot of people who don't look at life that way right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of folks who are going through a lot of things. I know we was just talking about one of the UFC fighters. Is, you know, he's dealing with Jalen, of course, who just retired, Jalen Turner. He's kind of going through it just a little bit, but I see day in and day out he's somewhat excelling and getting back into a good headspace. And mental health is important, so I'm glad he took that break that he needed to be able to get himself back together. And people have to speak up on that sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I think, man, I was just actually listening to another podcast talking about like mental health and nutrition and like how those things even play into each other. But when you talk about like football and MMA, like combat sports, and military service like yourself, we don't realize like repeated head trauma, and a lot of times military guys don't realize like even except like multiple gunshots, repetitive gunshots, explosive, these things going on, man, those things are giving you concussions too. And I think those things don't get enough credit, but just the way that diet and the lifestyle plays into everything. And also, let's be honest, like as men, maybe sometimes we don't feel as comfortable talking to people about how we feeling or because we feel like that's kind of soft. And we don't have a lot of resources to that. You know, you don't just go to your boys all the time and like complain or
it's hard
not
to
even
do that.
Complaining. It is hard to
it's hard.
Talk about your feelings.
And one of the stigmas coming from my community, black community, black folks don't go to therapy. They say that black folks don't go to therapy. It took me from being single to getting married and being in a household, and my wife telling me like, yo, you got some shit going on that you need to figure out. And it took that time to be like, okay, let me go figure that out. And I ended up getting a counselor through the VA, outside community care doctor, and she kind of brought some shit out that I didn't know that I was fucking dealing with. And it just, it took that conversation with my wife, and a lot of people don't do that. And I'm good to see now here lately. If you look at University of Georgia and their training shirts, their little dry fit shirts that they wear, it says mental health matters. And it seems like the message is getting out there a lot more about mental health and people being able to, realize that, hey, maybe I got some shit going on.
Look, man, the body keeps score, and all that trauma matters. I think everybody could talk about some trauma that they've been through in their lives, and as an adult, if you don't go back and revisit those things and solve those things, then those things will come out in other ways. And it's 100% a thing that occurs. And listen, I'm very upfront about like the own issues I've dealt with through like addiction issues and using different drugs and over a long time. And finally, when I decided to get myself together, I had to do some deep dives and go and unlearn a lot of things and heal some wounds that I just put out. Because if you don't go back and like heal those things up, they'll find a way to come out in other ways, and you might not understand it until you do that deep dive and look into yourself, or have somebody else help you do that deep dive and look into yourself. So you
gotta fix that. You're right. So let's jump into it, bro. I got a few questions right now, and my thing is what first got you into MMA and, just personal fitness as a whole? What brought you into that, and what was the journey like going through all of that? Because I remember when I first, besides the Marine Corps and their mixed martial arts program, I jumped into jiu-jitsu. And I was like, man, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm getting, and by that time I was already into powerlifting and shit. I'm like, fuck that, I'm strong, I'm good. And I got little 5'5" motherfuckers wrapping me up and choking me the fuck out. And I'm just like, how the fuck did that just happen, bro?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what, maybe I need to take a little breather from this. It's humbling, let me put it to you that way. Now I see why guys like you and the other guys at the gym, they're just so humble. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of it has to come from just their background and just rolling in the gym.
Yeah, so there's a couple different layers to the question you just asked, and I'll try to tackle one at a time.
Yeah.
So how I got into fitness, like, man, listen, I grew up an athlete. I grew up playing sports. And to be honest, when I was young playing sports, I didn't really like working out too much. I just like to play the actual sport. I was like, man, a lot of these, working out, and then they're not too good at football or whatever the sport may be.
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't a big thing for me to be like, want to be first at practice. I would just ball. I like to hit. I like to play. But as I got older, I started, realizing that, you're not always going to be at the top of the class athletically.
Yep.
You're going to have to put in some extra work. So by the time I was 10, 11, 12, I had an older brother. He's 11 years older than me, and he was a good football player. I was working out with him. He would take me. We would do sled sprints, stadium, stuff like that. So I started putting in that extra work from a young age, 9, 10, 11, all the way up.
Yeah.
But when you look at what kind of got me into jiu-jitsu, I always had an interest. I had a cousin of mine who owned a jiu-jitsu gym, but I never really got into it.
Yeah.
And when I came back from Ohio, I think it was 2017.
Okay.
So I think I was 28.
Okay.
28 years old at that time. And I think a lot of us go through this thing in life where we're used to playing a sport and we're used to doing something like that challenges us physically. And without that, like, a big piece of us is missing. We don't have like that camaraderie, that thing that we crave. And military guys go through the same thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
We don't have like that outlet for aggression. And I think a lot of men are missing that, and that's why they go through other problems in their lives, like, and criminal activity occurs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
For me, I needed a place to let that stuff out.
Yeah.
And the only place as an adult to do that where it's acceptable is if you sign up for a class and you go. Put yourself against other people. So for me, that was very important. So I walked into the gym. I'm the same thing, man. I came out. I was lifting all this heavy ass weight. I'm squatting 450. Like I'm thinking I'm,
Doing something. I'm doing something
Yeah,
here.
I'll handle myself in any situation. I'm stronger than everybody.
Yeah.
And I walk into a jiu-jitsu gym, and a dude that's 140-pound purple belt kicks my ass. Start rethinking some things. I'm like, oh, I got this thing twisted. It ain't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And after that, I was pretty much hooked.
Yeah.
Got me. Now I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I've never stopped training, but yeah, man, I think the biggest thing is like a lot of people we're going through life, and it's looked down in society to express that
Internal
aggressiveness,
feeling,
and now it's even worse now because you have these people talking about like toxic masculinity, and I'm like, bro, listen.
Yeah.
First off, we need men like that. We need real men.
Yeah.
They built everything, first off, okay? So, like, everything we have is built on the backs of masculine males.
Yep.
And let's just be honest about it, from
you're
building
right.
buildings, from
The pyramids.
everything, right? It's built on the backs of hardworking men.
Yeah.
Plumbing, like all of that stuff, electricians, all of that stuff, construction work, like that's hard work, that's hard labor. And this country and every other country was built on that path.
Yep.
And to now look down upon it, and to say like you don't want to do that and you don't want to have an outlet for people, I think is doing them a disservice. No, we need that outlet. Go to a boxing class, go to a jiu-jitsu gym as an adult. I'm telling you, that was the biggest form of therapy that I could have gave myself.
Mm-hmm.
I go do that. I'm focused on that one thing for an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe a little even longer at times.
Yeah.
And there's no cell phone. There's nobody telling me that I'm being too aggressive or I'm being, I'm doing too good at this. Like it's a place where that's accepted. And when I leave there, I feel at peace.
You're good. It's like you let it all out.
I don't have anxiety.
You're probably so tired when you leave too. You don't want to go do anything
physically
else.
fatigued. I don't have energy to like. I don't have that energy. I don't have that negative energy that wants to come out. I won't even say negative energy. I just don't have the excessive energy because if you use it right, it can be positive energy.
Yeah.
But
shit just fell off over there. It's all good. But it's like you don't have that, and that's what I feel has helped me. Especially when it came down to my mental health, and I remember when I first started going over to EBS, I was a lot heavier. Even though Jaden was training, I wasn't training, and it was just that I don't know how to really put it. Like you said, when you go to the gym and you work out and you let all of that out, especially as a man, you feel totally different. You let all that negative, it is negative energy in a sense. They call it what? Your chest full of hot air. You ever hear somebody say that before? And it's like when you finally let that outlet and that piece release, you feel a little bit better. And that's what some people, if you're not going to therapy, maybe you go find a gym, maybe you go to jiu-jitsu, maybe you go to boxing, go learn wrestling or something of that nature to be able to have that release, man. Because that is some at peace time. That is your time. I know some people go and they have their family rolling periods at some places in different gyms where the dad's rolling, the mom's rolling, and then they got a little kids class too. But for me, it's like, I guess you could say going to a barbershop whenever I could go to the gym or even just come here and record.
Right.
It's like that time to be able to talk and release, man. And that's beautiful.
Yeah, you gotta.
Or go work on it, or have a side project. Whatever happened to people building tables and shit in their garage? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like working with their hands.
I think everybody needs something where they can like check out. Especially nowadays with phones, like, man, it's so easy to just get caught up on that phone. Next thing you know, you just wasted an hour and you're not feeling too good about what you just did. After I'm like, damn, I just spent 1 hour on the phone. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But when I go train, the phone is off. I'm not concerned with that. My only focus, especially with something like jiu-jitsu, is there's somebody in front of me that's trying to strangle me, and I'm trying to strangle them.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about other things in that place, and guess what's going to happen to you?
You're going to get strangled.
You're going to get strangled.
You're going to get strangled.
And a lot of times.
Yeah, a whole lot.
But it's all good. We're going to have those days, and that happens.
But
and
you
it's
learn
okay.
from it.
It's
Yeah.
okay. Even when you leave, sometimes, like, this is where humility comes in. Sometimes you'll leave there, and you'll be like, man, I suck, and I just got beat up all day today. But you know what? Something about it feels good.
Yeah.
Like, I just get my ass kicked, but something about that, like,
you know what?
it feels good. I got a black eye right now. I'm like, whatever, man. Like, it is what it is.
I guess that's the sense of Fight Club.
Yeah,
When Fight
yeah,
Club
true,
came out,
true,
all the
true.
men were in there and they had Fight Club and they
Yeah.
released it. It was something about getting punched. You might leave with a black eye, you know, a missing tooth, but you came back the next day and you wanted some more of it.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
So who played a major role in your development and all of this, bro?
I mean, at first, I'll say, I mean, I don't want to sound like I got it all figured out because I don't, but I did. Like
Yeah.
I realized that I was going through a hard time, and I was down on my ass. I was down bad.
Speak on it.
I'm sleeping on the couch. I got
Yeah.
2 trash bags full of clothes.
Yeah.
I don't have nothing. I can't buy myself nothing. I can't pay my own phone bill.
Yeah.
I gotta figure this shit out.
Yeah.
So I start getting into reading books, you know, like you know, Think and Grow Rich, and I'm listening to some people on podcasts and different people, and I start meditating, bro. I start meditating hard. Like,
Yeah.
at first I wouldn't be able to last 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Bro, I got to a point where I'll go on the beach and meditate for 30 minutes. I got up to a point where I was doing 1 hour straight meditation.
Damn.
And I started with 30 seconds, and I wouldn't be able to sit still. Like, that just shows you, like, with practice, anything will get better. With practice, anything will get better. And I'll sit there, bro, and now I can just tap out. And it's one of those things that if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. Like
Yeah.
with anything else, it's like a muscle. The brain is like a muscle. Your mind is like a muscle. Everything is like, if you're not doing the upkeep, then you're gonna lose it.
Lose it all,
So
right.
now I still do 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes before bed, or sometimes in the morning, or
Right.
sometimes during the day if I feel I need it.
Yeah.
And it's something that I do daily,
Yeah.
at least before bed, because
Yeah.
it helps me go to sleep. Because when I lay down at night, the wheels start turning. All the things that went on throughout my day,
yes.
wheels start turning. Okay, let me start breathing,
Yeah.
relaxing. Okay, I visit on that thing. Okay, bring it back to the breath.
Yeah.
I'm a thinker.
Yeah.
And I analyze a lot. I'm very self-critical. I want to know like how different conversations went on throughout the day. What could I have done better at work? What could I have done better in my communication with my girl?
Yeah.
What things could I have done better? And at night, those things all hit me, and I just start thinking about it. And it's not wrong. It's good. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
But I don't want to spend too much time beating myself up about it. I just visit it, think about it. Okay, what could I have done better? You do it. Focus on the breath. Now bring it back, and then I clear all those things out. So that way, when I wake up tomorrow, it's like, okay, I'm doing the work every night. I'm doing the work every morning. I'm doing those things to upkeep my mental and upkeep my mental health.
You
also.
have another 24 hours to be able to work on it. Have you sitting there thinking about it? I do the same thing, bro. One of my biggest things that I haven't meditated in a while, and you actually just put me in check just then. I didn't. You were speaking, but it kind of hit me right here, like, damn, Jay, you need to get back to it, because it's probably why when I go to sleep at night, my wheels are like, I'm fucked. And the one thing that I do is I'll turn on a random ass Family Guy. I'll put Family Guy, put some earplugs on, and I'll go to sleep because it's like, it's funny, it's positive, and kind of blocks out those thoughts for a minute. And I know that you can use guided meditation audio and things like that, or some lo-fi stuff, but it's like, I'm in the same boat. And I probably should, because my wife yells at me. She's like, how do you even go to sleep with that on your phone with the blue light blasting in your face? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. It just happens. But it's like, that's one thing that my psychiatrist told me. She was like, have you tried guided meditation?
Yeah.
Have you tried this? Have you tried that? And I used to do it. I'll go upstairs and just lay down in the middle of the floor and just work through those breaths and just try and get things rolling. And that shit helped for a while, and I stopped doing it. I probably, just like you said, you shouldn't.
Yeah,
just like you told me not to stop doing it.
I started with guided meditations, and that's what, like, you know, that's how I started to. It helped me for somebody to walk me through the process of what was going on. And after a while of doing that, 6 months, 8 months, doing that, I was able to start like figuring it out on my own and do my own exploration, but still keeping those guided meditations in mind.
Yeah.
You don't have to use that forever, but it does help to get you started.
Yeah.
And then you begin this practice, and you like learn, and you develop your own way of practice.
Okay.
And that's what I do now more than any other thing, because I'll go through my whole body checklist, like relaxing the feet, relaxing the hips, relaxing the legs, relaxing the chest, relax the face muscles, and okay, boom. Now, going through the mind, you know, different. I have a whole process, and it's just been super, super helpful. And I know, like, man, listen, here's the thing, like meditation and these things, sometimes I think they get like almost like a a bad rap in a way because
Yeah.
it's like they get attached to like other things like this hippie movement or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But look, man, like there's something to it. It's been going on for thousands of years. People have been doing it for
They've been
thousands of years.
doing it.
It helps. Like
the real Wu-Tang Clan over there. I mean, they meditated. Bruce Lee meditated all the time.
right.
There's nothing for me. I mean, we speak on that. You know what I mean? There's nothing hippie about it.
Yeah.
If you can relax your body for a certain period of time to help clear your throat and clear your mind, you can go so much more further, and it just will help making your day just that much better. That's why a lot of workplaces have started allowing people to do that. Folks make fun of that shit. Oh, you got the quiet room or whatever the case may be. You got to go through that period in the day and have that quiet room and sit down, not sit down and scroll on your phone, but sit down and take those breaths. Because the phone it makes you 15 times worse. I got on my son's ass last night. Told him, I was like, man, put your phone down. But you've been on it all day. I know you have. Between this and playing video games, you've been on something. It's time to breathe.
Bro, you got to tap in with yourself. You got to check in with yourself. You know, like other people ain't always going to do it. And I try to tap in with people. I try to check on people that might be going through hard times because I think that's one of the things that we are missing now.
Yeah.
Is like it almost became like not cool to check on your people. Not cool to check in on your boys.
Yeah.
But just like I would check in with other people and make sure they're doing okay, it's important that you check in on yourself. Like first responders, you gotta save yourself first before you save everybody else. And if you ain't right, then it's gonna be hard to get other people right. I'm a coach.
Yes.
If I can't get myself right, then how am I gonna get other people right? How am I gonna get these kids right? How am I gonna get these professional athletes right?
You're right.
It's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
So I gotta make sure I'm not the person that's yelling at you from the back.
Yeah.
I'm the person that's in front, putting in the work first. I'm leading by example, and that's what it comes down. I'm a leader at the end of the day, and I lead alpha male men, and I lead young kids, and I lead them all the same, and I lead them by example. And my life, the way I am now, is built from experience and trial and error.
Yeah.
And that's the most valuable teachers that anybody is ever going to have.
Trial and error.
And the ultimate way to learn, the highest level of learning is learning from other people's mistakes.
Yes.
So I hope that I can pass on to other people the mistakes that I made and ways that they can learn from me.
And they can take the knowledge, somebody who's already been through it, and put it to use.
That's the number one way to learn.
Yep.
If you can do that, then you're at the peak of learning because, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna, I don't want to talk bad about my upbringing.
Yeah.
But man, like I didn't have like a lot of guidance from people that were super successful.
Right.
I didn't have no mentors. I didn't have nobody to show me the ropes when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And that was something that I was missing. And I had to seek that out. You know, I had to find like mentors and maybe mentors that didn't even know they were my mentor. You know, like Nipsey. I use Nipsey as an example. Man, his music got me through some of the hardest days.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was down bad, like I was not doing well mentally. I was in certain positions where it was crazy and stressful, and I'll put on that music and I'll be listening to it and it would change my whole vibe. Like, okay, you know, a positive message, because now I feel like we got to be careful with what we consume. And I'm not just talking about food. I'm talking about social media. I'm talking about music. I'm talking about what you're watching. I'm talking about the people that you're associating with, because all of that is you're consuming information from people.
Yes.
And if all you're listening to is like negative messaging, that's gonna come out in your life.
Yeah.
One way or another. If all the music that you're talking to is all about guns, violence, and drugs, guess what? You're going to use that. These are people of influence at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you know, I've listened to Lil Wayne songs before. I wanted to go pour up a cup and smoke some weed.
Yeah.
And that's not a good positive message. I'm not knocking Lil Wayne's music. I love it. Yeah. But you got to understand that what you're consuming is going to come out in your life. You got to protect that and understand what's going on.
And I've had my son and my wife makes fun of me, but when I'm in my truck, depending on the day, if I'm having a bad day or I just want it to be an easy, smooth day, I might listen to some country. I ain't gonna lie. I'll turn on some jazz. You know what I mean? And turn that on. But if it's like we about to go to the football game and it's something that's supposed to be upbeat, then I mean, Boss Man gonna come on.
Let's get hyped.
Exactly.
Let's
I'm gonna get hyped for that.
It's a time for that.
It
and music
is.
will change your energy and change
the
your
energy,
mood.
right?
And we
But
all
it's
accept
like,
that.
It's like if you're constantly day in and day out, speaking on the influence. A lot of these kids, these suburban kids, they listen to a lot of the Chicago drill music. They see the rappers with the skis on, and that's what they want to, you know, I guess you could say, copy, emulate, or whatever the case may be, and it changes their whole life because they think that's what they should be doing because that's what this person's doing. Then it's leading you down a different road. But someone who is well-rounded and listens to all types of music and has an equal, you know, a balance of that, their lifestyle will be totally different. I feel like that's the case. And that's how I was raised. At a young age, I was listening to Mozart because I was curious. I turned on some Beethoven. But at the same time, I'm from the South. So, you know, Jermaine Dupri, T.I., you know, the So Def All-Stars during the Freaknik times, that was my, you know, I was listening to that as well because it was just a balance through it. But it would change that mood, change that life, and it's all about your consumption at that point in time. So
so that's why nowadays, like, I try to consume things that are gonna benefit me positively. I don't listen to a lot of music besides when I'm at the gym because music is playing.
Yeah.
I listen to things that are going to give me some type of knowledge or some type of motivation or inspire me.
A little bit of
to do
podcasting
something.
and stuff
I listen
like
to
that.
a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of stuff, audiobooks and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, I'm just trying to like keep feeding myself positivity and knowledge and inspiration, something along those lines, than only feed myself music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'll only feed myself that because, like I said, you gotta be well-rounded. You gotta have balance. I'm not saying don't listen to music. That's not my message.
Right.
I'm saying have balance in your life.
Yeah.
And it'll go a long way for you.
Right. So your upbringing, of course, it sounds like you learning through life lessons, right? And being able to move forward with those. How do you instill those, not in your fighters, but in these younger kids? Because you had one of my kids that you were training, and I know that was from my football team, and I know that young man has a little. Kids have that stuff where they sparking up. They start taking in, like we were saying about consuming stuff off of social media. My son's really bad about it because I had to have that conversation with him on, you're not what you see on TikTok. That's a fucking pain in the ass right now.
Yeah.
And just trying to change all of that stuff. How important is that to you, do you think, to like today's youth? Just trying to get them rolling right, especially from some of the stuff that you've experienced and how you know that they can fall into that realm a little bit.
Yeah.
That's fairly tough because I know you also said listening to Nipsey, a lot of relation to that. So how do you break that down to these younger boys that's trying to get into this life?
I mean,
Not into fighting, but just coming up in the world.
no, 100%. And I think that this is something that I take pretty seriously.
Yeah.
Is because one thing about kids is they're not going to do what you tell them to do. They're going to do what they see you doing. So I think overall, just you embodying and being the person that you are telling them that they should be, being the type of man, being the type of adult, young man that they are growing to be is super important.
Yeah.
Because listen, if I'm out here telling these kids, you got to be disciplined, you got to be consistent, you got to work hard.
Yeah.
And then I go home and I'm fucking off and I'm not disciplined and I'm not consistent with my life outside of there, those things show through.
Yeah.
You know, like kids are influenced by people that will have a strong presence and be authentic. Like, kids have a sense for bullshit.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I mean? Like, kids have a sense for it. But when you're passionate about what you're telling them, when you're serious about what you're telling them, and they know you live that, they can look at you and see they've seen you put in work. They see you do some things. It's gonna have an impact on them.
Right.
Right? And when I try to pass the message on to them, you know, I didn't have the best life. I'll tell you that right now. Like,
Yeah.
I've been in trouble a lot. I didn't graduate high school.
Yeah.
But when they see
tough.
somebody like me to be success, like to come to a position of success, and I'll consider myself a success. If you look at where I started and you look at where I'm at now,
Yeah.
shit, I'm successful.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm doing something that I love.
Yeah.
I don't worry about my next meal. My family, the people I grew up with, they're proud of me.
Yeah.
That's a success. Now, does that mean I'm content? Like, it's over for me? Like, I don't have no, man. Like, there's always new goals. But kids see that, and when you come at them with a message of something like that, and they know you live it, it means something to them.
Right. So you hit on, and this is what I want to ask. You hit on. I know this is kind of like jumping around, but you hit on addiction. You hit on having those problems, and then you got out of that, of course. You had the mental strength of doing that, but then what led to what brought you to that point? Not getting out of it, but what brought you to the addiction? How was it? I guess your upbringing once again, because I know you from Long Beach, which I know a few people over in that area, but I mean.
Yeah.
How was that growing up over in Long Beach?
I mean, I grew up in Bellflower. I was living in Long Beach, but like I went to school Lakewood, La Salle. Like I was all over.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I think addiction, it can be a gene. I do think that, and there's also things in life that you'll go through that'll lead you to that. I come from a family that has addiction problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just being upset, like being upfront about it. I'm not talking bad about them, but my little brother is addicted to fentanyl. My older brother is addicted to all types of shit. Like they're both addicted to all types of shit. They'll do whatever in front of them. My parents like to drink.
Yeah.
And I grew up around that. That's what I saw. And as we were talking about earlier, you'll do what you see.
Yeah.
And you know, I went through different parts of my life where it was worse than others. And people will say like, oh, how can you be an addict, but now you want to help kids? It's like, that's exactly why I can help kids.
That's where I was going. That's exactly where I wanted to go.
Because I learned from experience.
Right.
It's trial and error through my life. And if I had somebody, this is a great saying, be the person that you needed when you were younger. And if I would have had somebody like myself in my life, I feel like I could have helped that kid out a lot, my younger self. I feel like I could have helped him out a lot. So now I try to pass that on to other kids. You know, like, addiction is crazy because you during the time you don't see it. You don't think, oh, I'm just an addict. You're not thinking like that, especially something like alcohol, where so many people do it. And for me, bro, it's anything I do in my life, I do 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I'm either all in or not in at all.
Right.
So like with alcohol, it's no different.
Yeah.
The problem with me was, man, I would be drinking for days straight and also doing cocaine for days straight. Like that's the reality of it. Like I wasn't able to just go like a lot of people are and just have like one drink or two drinks. It was like, boom, once I started, we're stopping. You guys are gonna go home? Okay, I'll see you later. I'm going somewhere else. I'm gonna go do and it became 4 or 5. Like it's a problem.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, it took me to hit rock bottom to figure that out and to go do that work. And then I thought I had it figured out, and I stopped doing that work we were talking about earlier, checking in with myself, checking in on my mental health, getting those things cleared, making sure those traumas stay in touch, because if not, those things will come back. And I relapsed.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where, you know, like, I'm grateful for my girl, man. She was like, hey, if you do this again, it's over. And, you know, she's a great person. I love her to death. I don't want to lose her over something like that.
That's dope. That's how it was with my wife, too. She had to put me in check. And in the same instance, we as kids, we see on the outside. My mom, I love my mom to death. Not the best relationship. Growing up, of course, my dad was a Rolling Stone. You know what I mean? And especially, I mean, I ain't gonna put too much, especially with his job, he was never always home as much. And that led my mom down some rough ways, which she's still a little bitter about right now. And even to this day, and I'm pretty sure my dad would probably end up seeing this shit, or my stepmom probably end up seeing this shit, and she'd be like, damn, really? They're in a good space right now. In the past, it wasn't such a good space. My mom was a heavy drinker, And I think she's lightened up just a little bit, but she's doing some still questionable shit, which in turn, with both my mom being this way, and my dad likes to drink too. He's not a heavy drinker, but he'll have some whiskey. That's his main choice. And I think it kind of passed down to me in a sense. And it took my wife to say, hey, you doing too much. And I'm just like, but what do you mean? It's summertime. I'm just enjoying myself, or it's spring. I'm just enjoying myself. But when you sit back, like you said, you put that shit in check, like, damn, maybe I am kind of overdoing that shit.
Shit, military guys are
drink.
Some of the biggest drinkers. And look, and I said, listen, I'm not like demonizing drinking. I'm not doing that.
Not one bit.
Like, some people can. I'm not one of those people.
But
I have to realize that. Like, I can't have it at all because there's no in between for me. And unfortunately, that's how some people are. And I realize that I'm haven't had a drink in a long time, years, you know? Like I don't do any kind of, none of that.
Your gym and your workouts is your choice. Yeah.
And you know what? I feel good in the morning. I wake up, I feel great every morning.
Yeah.
I get my work done. Nah, man, I'm just not, it's just not for me. I'm not demonizing it and saying like, if you drink, you're a bad person or you don't have your shit together. That's not true. A lot of people can handle it and they can have that, but you got to realize if you're one of those people that can tolerate it or you can't. And I'm lucky I learned that now. It took me a lot of lessons, man. Been arrested a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? but like, hey, at some point, like, it's like, yo, and I give a lot of credit to my girl for putting me in check for that. And you know what? I realized that having a strong woman like that in my life makes a big difference because I'm a wild guy.
Yeah.
And I'll do wild shit if I'm by myself. Like I'm that guy. Like I'll be wild.
I remember this story that you told. Now you hit that shit. I remember this story that you told. Where were y'all at? You were in Huntington, I feel like. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you got in a fight. I don't know if you were in a restaurant. He had gotten in a fight. And you just ran, like, you didn't run up. They were pretty much, they were the agitators for it.
So look.
Tell the story. I got to hear it.
Okay, so look, check this out. So I train a guy named Marvin Vittori. Okay, he's also a friend of mine, but I train him. I've been training him since 2017.
Yeah.
He's one of the top 10 fighters in the world. He challenged Israel Adesanya for the belt.
Oh shit, okay.
Like this was when he was coming up. He had just did his first co-main event, right? This is like still on the come up. Yeah. And we go out to celebrate. He choked the dude out in the first round. We go out to celebrate in Huntington and Main Street.
Yeah.
We were drinking all night, right? We go to get pizza at a little pizza spot right there on Main Street.
Yeah.
And people are starting to recognize him now, you know, because like I said, he's a fighter in Huntington, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And some guys it's crazy to me. You would never think, like, how dumb are you to talk shit to a UFC fighter? But a lot of men be out there, bro, and it's crazy. It's like almost they want to test themselves against that. Yeah. They're talking shit to him.
Yeah. And
Marvin's like, man, what the fuck? Like, you know, just talking shit to them back. And the guy fucking slapped Marvin in the back of the head. So Marvin turns around and he's like about to hit the guy. Bro, I come, boom.
Yeah, he couldn't do it, but I can.
X'd him out, boom. He's laid out sleeping in the door.
Yeah.
Boom, we take our pizza, we go eat around the corner.
Yeah.
Police roll up on us, we get booked. But the owner of the pizza spot said, no, those other guys, they started it.
Yeah.
You know, we just had to finish it.
We just had to finish it. You know what that shit reminds me of, bro? Don't be a menace. Don't be a menace.
Yeah.
Hey, my man said he don't want to fight you, but I do. And then Marvin Williams comes over and he punches him. They just stomp him out. That sounds like one of them. That's one of them wild times you be going through, huh?
Yeah.
That shit. Hey, sounds fun to me at the same time.
No.
We used to fight like that when we were in the Marine Corps. We always fucking fought. We fought in the barracks. We fight other Marines just because. And then at the end of the day, we'll be in the field shaking hands and going through an op or deployed and shaking hands.
A bunch of wild men. Anybody who signs up, especially during the time you were in, those are some wild guys, bro.
Wild guys,
you
bro.
know you're going to war. You want to go to war.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You got to get that outlet. Motherfucking commander be like, hey, the battalion commander be like, yo, we got to get these boys on a deployment. This shit getting out of hand.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You knew that's what you, now in this time, motherfuckers don't want to deploy.
Yeah.
They don't. They want to sign up.
I ain't mad at him. Listen.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
All the respect to all the soldiers and military personnel that went through the last 20 years of Afghanistan war.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, that shit didn't need to happen.
Okay.
But you have a lot of men in this country that are looking forward to this shit.
Yeah,
They want
Yep.
to.
Yep.
They sign up. Like, listen, I went to school in Ohio.
Yeah.
There's some
was
good
about
old
to
boys
say
out
that.
there that are
I was
like,
about
man,
to say
shit,
that.
I'm 18 years. I
Yeah.
can't wait till I'm 18 so I can sign up. I want to go
They
shoot
just
some
wanna
shit.
Go shoot some shit. You're gonna kill me, one of them.
Yeah.
And it is true. And I was about to say it. Them Midwest backcountry boys, them the ones that sign up real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, Texas,
just so they
Ohio,
can
like,
Texas.
yeah.
And those are the ones. If you ever notice, a lot of them dudes are the ones that get the Medal of Honor for some craziest of shit, trying to save lives. And it's a whole lot of them. When it comes down to Afghanistan, for me, I feel like once Osama bin Laden was captured and killed, that should have been the end.
Yeah.
We went over there. I feel like we went over there. We did what we needed to do. That should have been the end. But we stayed. And of course, when you chop the head of a snake, another one grows and it continues and it continues. We create a generational war where the kid that was 10 years old at the time is now what? Fucking.
And you killed his
30.
dad.
You killed his dad, so now he's sworn to come kill whoever killed his dad.
Bro,
it
but
just keeps going.
this shit is going on in our streets here.
Yeah.
Okay? Like there's gangs here.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, they'll come to ceasefires or truces at times. But then you see an old boy at the liquor store that killed your brother, killed your cousin, killed your dad, bro. And I just feel like I wish this shit could stop, bro. Like I really do. Like I don't want to be in wars. I don't want our country to be in wars. Like like you said, like when our soldiers are over there and they're killing people, they have sons, they have nephews, and they're growing up now without a father. And not only that, our own soldiers are getting killed too. And now these kids here are growing up without a father. I just feel like, I don't know, man.
It's a never-ending cycle.
I wish it could stop. I don't know how to.
I felt that way. What's wild is me, my dad, and my oldest brother. We all served when the global war on terrorism got started. Talk about generational. My dad was the first one. He was in the invasion in Iraq.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? He was the first ones that rolled through behind, of course, all the line companies, which those are infantry guys, recon, special forces dudes, who are just going all the way through and just setting everything up. My dad was right behind them, of course, in the trucks, setting up bases. He was pretty much on the main MSRs, service roads.
That's crazy.
Rolling through while everything is going on in front of him. But I know a lot of people, the military dudes, oh, your dad was a pogue. Say whatever personnel other than grunt. It's cool, but the motherfucker was still in the first part of the initial invasion, riding through Kuwait, going into Iraq when everything was still hot. That's just for the military side of things. However, while he was there, of course, me being back here, I didn't have my mom decided to stay in Miami. I was sleeping in my aunt's fucking garage in the middle of South Georgia summer. And I'd be looking at CNN, soldier here killed, WCTV back home, 2 people from Georgia, so on and so on. And I'm like, yo, is my fucking dad dead? Because it would be months before I get to talk to him.
That's crazy.
And in my mind, I'm like, all right, I already had plans of joining the Marine Corps. But it's like, fuck it. If something happened to him, I'm for sure joining right now.
Right.
And that falls into that generational mindset on both sides of the field of like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And this is how it's going to go.
I would feel better about it if I trusted the politicians, the ones that are getting into these fucking wars. I just feel like all these fuckers are just...
It's money.
It's money, bro.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm like, hey, you shouldn't be calling for no damn wars unless you got skin in the game, unless your son or your nephew or somebody you got going to war too.
Yeah.
Because if you're just gonna call for all these wars and you sit over here in this nice ass office and you got all the nice ass fucking lunch, and you're sending young kids to go, essentially a lot of them die and kill, and if we talk about trauma, bro, like our veterans have massive amounts of trauma, mental health issues coming back, and they're not getting the treatment they need. After the wars, these politicians put these kids in, and they don't got no skin in the game. A lot of them are just lining their pockets because there's a lot of money that's involved in this
Billions.
shit. And, you know, like I said, if I trusted them, I would feel better about it. But I'm like, man, at the end of the day, you start finding out stuff and like looking at false flags and different stuff like that, and like what it all comes down to.
It's now in this time where everybody finally started realizing like, oh shit, like maybe we don't need to go to war, maybe we don't need to do this, maybe we don't need to do that. And there's plenty of times where we don't have to. It can be through a conversation. And one of the things right now is fuck that whole Ukraine situation right now. That's been the biggest one that has captured everyone's attention on stuff. Is that we've sent so much money over there to help these dudes out to be able to fix their situation. And what was it? That meeting that he had, not this last one, the previous one where they came to the White House.
At the Oval Office?
Yeah, and Trump pretty much just, he yelled at him and put him in his little ass fucking place. And he's like, we want peace. Let's bring peace. We're not giving you any more money. Give us what we want, which is smart in my opinion, is that if you look at when we were at war with Iraq, and the Iraqis were setting the oil fields on fire, the reaction from the U.S. when we wanted to defend our oil fields. And think about what would happen. Russia knows what would happen if they fuck with the U.S. They've already experienced it. So that is a perfect way of saying, hey, we don't want to fuck with y'all because you got NATO and you got America, and we don't want to go to war and cause a whole nother world war because we remember what happened last World War.
Yeah.
And that would bring peace. I feel like it would bring peace to the region because nobody wants to sit here and keep sending their kids to die. And that's probably one of the reasons why recruitment is so damn low. Nobody wants to go and fucking keep doing that shit.
It's going back up now, but also, then you find out like some of these wars, even the Vietnam War, like how it started, like that was a bunch of nonsense. It should have never happened.
Yeah.
But also, when we're in Afghanistan, you see U.S. soldiers guarding poppy fields, and then you figure out like it's massive like opium fields that they're protecting that, and like why? Because how much money is to be made on that? Okay, and then you start looking even deeper, and it's like, okay, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
Well, because all these pharmaceutical companies that are producing all this fucking Oxycontins and all this shit.
That's money into it.
Yeah. So like it's not just, oh, this country did this to us. And no, man, like there's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of playing parts, and I don't know everything. I'm just like,
no, but you speaking
gotta be
on
a
it.
better
This is
way,
something
you know
that
what I mean?
I had a conversation with my dad on this too, as well. Is like during 2020 when we had those COVID times, right? I know, and somebody probably can come through and correct me if I'm wrong, but remember all the cars and all this stuff when we did the withdrawal out of Afghanistan. One of my neighbors who works for a car company said, dude, we have so many cars sitting just already made, but we can't put the chips inside of them. Part of those minerals were in the mountains of Afghanistan. When we withdrew and the evac happened, China was the first motherfucker to go over there and say, hey, Taliban, let's make a deal. Let's work. Let me get into these mountains and get these minerals and start being able. So what happens? China gets the minerals. They start making the chips. We got to buy the chips from them.
And we're relying on China.
And we're relying on China, and China's paying the Taliban, who we don't like, and Al-Qaeda and all of them, to get more money and line their pockets up to be able to build their military even bigger. It's a full, it's
And then you even find out that
circle.
we are giving money to the Taliban. That
I
we're
remember
supposed
that
to be
shit.
fighting.
Yeah,
like, come
we're
on,
supposed
dude.
to be fighting the motherfuckers, bro. And it's like we just dumping dough into it. And it's fucked up that was the circle that we were going through. Those are the things that we have to deal with.
One of your favorite shirts?
Yeah. Which one?
Anti-government, but I work for the government.
I work for the government. Bro, motherfuckers collecting the paycheck, but I hate this shit. Because we know, and I look at it, dog, and I see a lot of the stuff. I've told this to a lot of people. I was like, I wish I wouldn't have seen half of the things that I've seen or experienced half of the things I've experienced. The briefcases that used to leave the base to go to such and such so they wouldn't do such and such. But then when the briefcase stopped, that's when bad shit started going on. It's a back scratching type deal.
Yeah.
And you think about it, the war on drugs, DARE programs and all of that shit back in the day, the story of Freeway, Ricky Ross, everybody, if you've ever seen Snow on FX.
Snowfall, yeah.
Snowfall.
That's the story.
Yeah.
And actually, I want you to keep going on that.
Yeah.
But also, they did Freeway Ricky Ross dirty on that.
Yeah.
The guy who wrote it, John Singleton, talked to this man about his story and then stole it, didn't give him no money. He never got never got a cent out of that Freeway Ricky Ross. He's out of prison now, but John Singleton stole, rest in peace to John Singleton, stole that story from him, didn't use his name, didn't give him any credit. Snowfall ends up becoming one of the biggest series on TV.
I still hadn't even finished.
And that's about Freeway
season.
Ricky Ross.
Yeah.
His story is incredible. This was an uneducated man, didn't know how to read, from South Central LA, was a very good tennis player who ends up unknowingly working for the CIA and becoming the biggest drug dealer in all of the United States at the time. That was being supplied by the CIA,
Yeah.
to fund the war in Nicaragua.
Yeah. Just because that's what they wanted, the war in Nicaragua, to be able to take over their property, and that's the only way that they could be able to fund it. And you could go down that fucking, it's a rabbit hole, and it's absolutely insane. And I dislike some of the three-letter agencies. Some of them have that, and the only reason why I say some is because I did apply to be a DEA agent just because I wanted to go back to Afghanistan. But it's like I was just chasing a dragon. And even when I came home, I was still chasing that dragon, and I found out that dragon didn't want me to chase it no more. So now I'm doing it was God's plan to be in this position that I'm in right now. But it's like they've caused so many issues. What they do, they just released the JFK files. You start looking at all of the other stuff. J. Edgar Hoover, for me, I think was one of the biggest threats when it came down to it, because to fuck with Martin Luther King, even Malcolm X, dealing with some of those things that they did and put people in position because they thought that it was the good of the country. It really wasn't. Talking about CIA and dealing with Rick Ross, Freeway Ricky Ross. Let's be correct on that, not the rapper.
The real Rick Ross is not a rapper.
Yeah, he's not a rapper. So that dude's name ain't even Rick Ross, but that's a different subject. But it's like seeing all of that stuff and how it broke the country down. And then now they talk about the war on drugs and trying to fix things. You mentioned earlier your brother dealing with, his fentanyl and all of that stuff, and fentanyl being one of the biggest things that come here. I've never seen, like, some of the stories that I see when it comes down to fentanyl, people taking it, then that might be your last damn hit, And it's like, why hasn't the government came up with a way to be able to stop that shit? And it goes down to anti-government, but I work for a government. I know that we probably could stop it, but yet we choose not to fucking stop it. We wanted to keep flowing in here. How many people can we kill?
Brother, listen, if you got an open border, where do you think these drugs are coming through from?
Yeah.
If you got an open border, you think it's not going to put more drugs into this country? You just make it much easier on them. Now, most of the fentanyl is coming from China. China funnels in through Mexico and even Canada. And that's something that bothers me because it affects me personally. I went to high school with a lot of people that overdosed from drugs. My little brother and other close people to me I know are addicted to fentanyl.
Yeah.
That shit is real.
Yeah.
That shit destroys families.
I believe it.
It ain't no joke. And people die. I've seen that shit tear apart families, man. Like, I don't even talk to my little brother.
Wow.
And it's not that I don't love him.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, like, it's hard to watch.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
It's hard to watch.
Yeah.
You just see, like, that's a life wasted.
Yeah.
He never got to be, never really got to experience life besides drugs. Like he was addicted to drugs at, like, 7th, 8th grade already.
Dang, that's early, bro. That's tough.
And it's like, you just see, like, he's 30. Matter of fact, his birthday is today. He's 30 years old, and it's like, you ain't experienced life. You never overcame that one thing to, like, allow you to experience others, and that's what you want to do. And he's not the only one. There's probably millions of people in this country going through the same thing, and it's just sad to see. And, like, the war on drugs never really helped anything. It just put more people in jail, like, especially for weed.
For weed, yeah.
It's like that, in my mind, that's the last thing that people should
bringing that up. What are they going to do about the people that they put in jail for weed? Can they get a pardon? That's my question. They should.
Why shouldn't they?
I mean, we sell it. It's in a dispensary now.
Right.
You just go in there and show your ID and you walk right out. But it's like you have some people who are put in jail for, back in the South, that shit's still a misdemeanor. It ain't like a misdemeanor over here in California where some misdemeanors you get a ticket for.
Right, and Texas, I think, is a felony, right?
Yeah.
You can't have weed in Texas.
You can't have weed in Texas. Huh. And I think some places have some of the, I would say Austin, Houston, maybe, they might have the dispensaries and shit being changed over. But it's like, it's certain amounts that you're not able to be able to carry.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that I'm not even worried about. The FDA and, who is it? The disease, CDC.
Mm-hmm.
They've came back and they've made changes and said things were different, to even include with I think it was the FDA that moved the black label off of testosterone, TRT.
Oh yeah.
They changed that a bit around, and it's like maybe we need to go back and rethink how we treated and looked at certain things, because the opioid addiction, the fucking fentanyl in the streets, those are the real worst ones. It used to be crack.
Those are
and
the biggest
cocaine.
drug dealers on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just call it what it is. Those are drug dealers. They're selling drugs. They get people addicted. Then they cut people off. Then they go on the streets and they're getting heroin and fentanyl.
Now
There's
you
not
can't
even
control
heroin
it.
no more.
No.
They go straight to fentanyl.
Yeah.
And then they end up dead. And it takes a kid's parent away from them.
Yep.
And now what? Like, and not only that, like the CDC, FDA, like, bro, I just seen something the other day where the AHA, the American Heart Association, was making an argument that sodas and processed foods are not bad for your health. Bruh, can you show me a bigger example of somebody that's getting paid to say those things? Because I can't.
That's wild.
Listen, if you're gonna tell me that sodas and processed foods are good for kids, stop. You're obviously getting paid to say these things,
Yes,
and you're
you
a
are.
representative of the American Heart Association.
Yep.
Just stop with that.
Yeah, that's money.
That's a straight lie.
Yeah.
You're getting paid to say those things. It's just not true.
Because it came out stating that which dye that is one of the causes for the ADD or can contribute to ADD,
but
ADHD.
Not only that, these food dyes. Okay, these companies will say, "Oh, but these are safe amounts." Okay, I don't give a shit if it's safe or not. More research needs to be done on it, first off.
Yeah.
Second off, what is the point of putting that in the food?
Yeah.
What is the benefit?
Yeah.
Tell me why. Why
no
it needs to be
benefit
in
of it.
there.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be in there. These chemicals don't need to be in there. And if they don't need to be in there, then why are they?
Yeah.
Because what? You want to make some money? You want to make people more addicted to food?
pretty
There's
much.
food in the grocery stores that sugar is 100% addictive.
Yes.
There's foods that don't need sugar in them, that have sugar in them.
Yeah.
Just because they make you addictive. And if I'm selling food and it's not against the law, guess what I'm going to do? If I need to sell more food, I'm going to do what I can to get people to buy more of my food, to sell more of my food.
Yeah.
I understand it.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's.
I feel like that's what McDonald's and all of them people, all those places, that's one of the biggest things that they do. Because I've seen a video. I saw a video one time of some woman who was just so fucking addicted to that shit that made her go in there and crash out in the store. Made her crash out in a restaurant because she wanted her fucking Big Mac.
I mean, I think
That's bad, bro.
bro, the best thing that we can do is I think the messaging needs to be like strong men coming out, strong people coming out, not only men, strong women, strong people need to come out and voice that, that's not how they live their lives.
Yeah.
Like healthy people that are physically able, that's not how they live their lives. They're not consuming those things. And if you want to be healthier, you want to live longer, you want to be physically strong, then you need to go away from that. And another way is like getting them to, if you show up all these rich CEOs in a room, like, haha, look how we have all these kids eating this shit and we're just poisoning them in and they think they don't even know it.
They don't even
and they're
realize
fucking rich, making all this money off of them. And that's one way to kind of get the messaging through, because at the end of the day, I don't know about you, but I don't want some rich CEO making me sick
Making you
and making
sick,
money
yeah.
off making me sick.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
So I feel. That's why I changed my life last year. My A1C was up. I was like, fuck that. I ain't dying this way.
No.
I done been through all of this shit. I'm not going out this way. But you want to know what the problem with that is, big dog? And I'm pretty sure all of these CEOs and these food processing companies really love it, is how much they are celebrating obesity. How it's so on the internet to be this big
Don't
and this
body shame
overweight.
and
Don't
shit.
body
Nah,
shame
that's
me. Don't do
bullshit.
this. Don't do that. That shit is making people feel like it's okay that they got to. Because I hated that shit. Every time I needed to go out, go somewhere, how I didn't have clothes, my clothes didn't fit right. How I just break out and fucking. I'm already I sweat just naturally, of course, but like everybody does. But it's like I was sweating a lot thinking about what clothes I could put on, how I can do it. Now, fucking 30 pounds later, I'm like, all right, I put this on. Do I still have another road further down the road to go? Fuck yeah, I do. But am a lot healthier than what I was before.
Right.
I'm a lot more comfortable putting my clothes on. I'm actually able to go out there on the field with these boys and show them what they need to do and be a better, like you said, better influence, better coach, better all this good stuff, to be able to show these kids what they need to do and how they need to live. Because nobody wants to listen to, or it doesn't look good when you can barely see your fucking toes. Let's just be honest. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't walk up the stairs and without.
And you're telling this kid that he should get in shape. He needs to go to.
Yeah, you need to do this. You need to do that. He's probably looking at you like, motherfucker, you don't even do that shit.
Right,
so why should I?
Right.
And you're not being a good influence.
Yeah,
and that's
you gotta
just
be a
what
good
it is.
leader,
You have
dude.
to be that strong woman, strong man out there being able to coach these kids up or adults up to be able to be better people in the world, because that changes. The body works with everything, like you said before.
Man.
That changes your mental health.
You know,
and
like,
layout.
and this is the truth. Health is wealth, and you can have all the money in the world, and then you get sick, and guess what you'll be thinking?
I shouldn't have did this.
I'll give all this money up just to have my health back.
Yeah.
I'll give all this money up. I'll give all whatever I can to just get my health back. When you're sick on a bed and you can't do nothing, the only thing you're thinking is, I wish I was healthy. And you're gonna be wishing, I wish I would have made some smarter decisions when I was younger.
Yep.
And the best time to start was 10 years ago. The next best time to start is today.
Right now.
You know what I'm saying?
They say no better time to plant a tree than right now.
Yep.
Plant that motherfucking tree and let it grow.
And bro, yeah, health, man. Listen, you get one body.
That's my dad's saying.
You get one.
Yeah.
And you know, they got surgeries now that might be able to repair some stuff. But first off, I hope you got a health insurance that ain't gonna drop your ass if you need that new heart, because 100,000 it is to get that thing repaired, bro. A lot of health insurance companies ain't gonna pay for that. That shit ain't gonna be covered, and then you're gonna be over your neck for the rest of your life, covered in debt.
Trying to pay for the
trying
health
to pay
that you
for
could have
that
fixed a long time ago.
because you just wasn't proactive about it.
Yeah.
And you know, it don't got to be much. You make small changes, and small changes turn into big changes, and next thing you know, it's a lifestyle for you.
Yeah.
Like for me, listen, I'm not like the most strict on it.
Yeah.
I eat a pizza once a week. I eat a double cheeseburger once or twice a week.
Every
like it's
time.
okay.
Yeah.
But I work out every day. I don't eat processed foods.
Yeah.
You know, I drink some Diet Coke on the weekends, but that's it. Like I'm not like, I'm not over the top with anything I do.
You're not
Like with those things. Like I learned how to moderate those things.
Right.
During the week, I'm strict. Like I'm eating elk. I'm eating sweet potatoes.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying?
That shit is good.
But
I
on the
like
weekend,
that.
I'm like, okay, in order to make sure that I'm not gonna just go crazy one day, I'm like, I'm gonna eat a pizza. I'm gonna have a double cheeseburger.
You gotta
I'm
have it
okay.
in moderation.
Yeah.
It's there. You
It's
gotta
not
be able
bad
to
for
feed
you.
it. Yeah.
It's the overconsumption that's bad for you.
Yeah.
With anything, right?
Do you think the people who are just like the health, true over health craze, do you think that they're kind of like overdoing it too much, even though that it might be good? Because I know bodybuilding, you have to take a break from it. Mm-hmm. You can't your life can't live off of that type of diet, that type of strenuous working out all the time. Do you feel like that's kind of like over the top sometimes too?
When I look at like health overall, I look at it and happiness. When I look at health and happiness overall, I like to look at it from, is my body healthy? Is my mind healthy? And is my soul healthy?
There you go.
And things that feed my soul,
Yeah.
sometimes it's gonna be that pizza.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. Like, I don't want to live my whole life like thinking like, oh, I'm depriving myself. I'm deprived. Like, I can't have those things. No. So I'll have it on the weekend. I'll have a pizza. I'll have a big bowl of pot. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to live that life so strict where I'm like, oh, but there's something like not making me like happy inside.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, I'm always pissed that I'm not eating that pizza. Like, I wish I could have a pizza. Like, I think that you gotta be balanced
Right.
in those things.
Yes.
So if my mind is healthy, my body is healthy, and my soul is happy, or happy and healthy, because I
Yes.
feel like, hey man, when I have that, I feel good about it. Like, it's okay. I'm not doing it all the time. I feel balanced,
Right.
a complete
Yeah.
balance there. So I think that's one of the things that need to take into mind, because I think some people go so far over the edge with it, but then they're not really happy because they're always deprived. They want it.
Yeah.
They want to, it might not be pizza for them. It could be like ice cream or something. I don't know. It's something where you're like, oh, always, and I just never have it. And then like that bothers you a little bit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's okay. It's okay.
Right.
Like
it's okay to go do it once in a while, man. Don't feel like you can't go have that pizza. Go eat that cheeseburger, man. I do.
Just don't do it all the time.
Don't do it all the time. It can't be an everyday thing.
And cheeseburgers are actually good.
Yeah.
As long as it's like real beef, you know what I mean? And like not all this other additives and processed stuff. Like a cheeseburger is good for you. Man. The worst part is probably the processed breads that's being put on it. Or when you have those French fries that are
not
cooked
real
all type of exactly.
Cooked in some weird ass oil and then made like McDonald's French fries that last for a long ass time. Shout out to In-N-Out and motherfucking they beef and they fries, bro. You see them back there chopping them potatoes. That's the best part about it. And they like to get their beef is somewhere local. It might be a couple of miles out, but it's fresh out the cow, which is solid.
It's not even the worst thing. Like that's not even that bad for you to be honest. Like a potato and beef is good.
Yeah. That's what I go for when I get there. I get the beef and the potato. I don't even get the bread. I just go, what do they call it? Fucking not animal style. Flying Dutchman. I get the protein and the Flying Dutchman. I don't get any bread on mine. I love it. So before we get ready to bounce, is there anything else you want to put out there to them?
No, man. I mean, you know, we just kind of conversate like it.
I love it. It was just a good conversation. It was a great conversation. But it's just.
Well, I'll come back and do it again. How about that? If there's things that we missed on.
Hell yeah. No, I just say, other than where they can find you, if they need just to be able to talk to somebody about a situation that they're going through, can they hit you up? Cause see, especially 100%. If this related to somebody out there.
Yeah, 100%.
Hit them a little bit.
Chase Your Dreams 247 on Instagram. I check my messages. I check my DMs. I ain't Hollywood like that. No, I ain't Hollywood like that.
He's a good dude to chop it up with. He let you know whatever gym he's going to be working out at or anything of that nature. If y'all get to know each other and get to that point, he might not want you to pull up or he might not think you capable. You might not be ready. I ain't ready.
No, come on, man. I encourage people to get training and I don't care what level they're at. I'll be nice.
He'll be nice. He might not be able to walk out.
Look, here's the thing, man. I'll meet you where you are. Like, I'm not, you know, bro. I train with the fighters that I train. Yeah. Like I train with them. It's great.
Yeah.
But I train with people that are white belts too. Like it's okay. I'm not, you know, I don't need to just smash people all the time. Like I don't, you know, I get it's.
You take it easy, not necessarily take it easy. You work at that level.
Like I said, you meet people where they are, and at the end of the day, I want more people to have that experience. And if you make it a bad experience for somebody, they don't want to come back. Especially a lot of dudes who think they're tough, bro. They're dealing with it the worst.
Yeah.
These dudes that think they're tough, and you see them all working out and all big muscles and shit. And then they get their ass whipped, and then they don't ever come back because their egos can't handle that. That's one thing that you're gonna get put in check, and I think everybody needs to have their ego put in check. Right. Bro, it's a certain amount of people out there that think they could beat a bear, and they don't know how fucking useless they are. You know what I mean? Like, so you need to realize a lot of people, you probably overestimate greatly your ability to defend yourself.
Right. You got to check that ego at the door. That's what it is. And once you do that, then everything, it's like me, I had to check my ego at the door for my jiu-jitsu time.
You got to keep those things in check. I think it's good for you.
Yeah, it helps you a long
Humility, humble you real quick.
Real quick. So I brought you a flag right there for you, just a little pardoning gift that I had. I felt like it was fitting for you. Open it up for you.
Oh, shit.
Let me see.
Which one's the top?
Right here.
Oh, there
it says "Rise above at all costs."
Yeah, man.
You can hang that in the living room.
Thank you, my brother.
Else of that nature.
That's awesome.
Just after listening to your story, it just seemed fitting, bro. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
So once again, I want to thank Chase for coming on. You can find him on Instagram at Chase Your Dreams 247. Hit him up with your questions, anything that you might, if this related to you, hit him up. Reach out to him. Make sure you go and follow the Shoot the Mic podcast. Reach out to my friends over at Rifle Supply on Instagram. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see Chase come back, because I am going to have him back. I want to hear some more of his stories because I don't think we even covered everything that we should have recovered today. So we're going to have him back on. But make sure you subscribe, hit the like button on this video on YouTube, and make sure, one more time, go follow my boy Chase at Chase Your Dreams 247. Is there anything else you want to tell him?
Yeah, much love to everybody. I love you all, and you know, my ultimate goal is to inspire people. Feel free to reach out to me, and yeah, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody, man.
Appreciate
Life
you,
is
Chase.
good. Appreciate
Thank
you for
bro.
having me, brother.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Y'all take it easy. Peace.